Auction time. This is the 8i series auction. 8i01. It is a paternalis style point from Texas, made of Texas chert, Central Texas chert. Semi-translucent. Has flared barbs, which are not very common with this style in the actual archaeological record, but I like it. Okay. The preform or the biface for this was made during a live stream. Let's see if I can get some of the flake scars to show. It's raw, right? I believe it's a raw piece, but it could be lightly heat treated. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Yeah, this stone was a gift, so some of it was heat treat, some of it wasn't. I don't know which it was in this case. The bottoms of the barbs are pressure flaked with a very sharp tool to make them pointed like that, which I don't think was common with this style in the archaeological record either, but I like it. I like the way it looks. Okay. Overall length and weight and all that good stuff. Let's see. I'll compare it to a lighter as well. It looks bigger on video than it actually is. 3 3/4 by 1 7/8. It weighs 'Can you see it? 396. Yeah, 396. I've got the light positioned in a different place, but it still doesn't make... Yeah, still can't get clarity on that screen. 396 grains, not grams. Okay. All right. 8i02 Ishi style point. Let's see, does it have translucency? Slight. It's that black buttery stuff that I like. And they're expanding notches. They're not narrow entry, not really. I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to do narrow entry, working on a set of tools that'll allow me to relatively easily do that. It's been a struggle, ongoing struggle, trying to figure out a good set of tools to use or to develop to make these narrow entry notches. 3 1/32. Yeah. By a little over 7/8. It's not a 32nd. It's 3 1/16 by 15/16. Made of that black butter obsidian that I like. I think I said that already. Ishi style in the type that he'd like to give away as gifts. These are rather large, larger than the ones he was using before he entered civilization, so to speak. Okay. The edges are just picked. They're not the type of edges that Ishi would put on his points. Ishi's edges were a lot more jaggedy. Okay, just so you know. And this one weighs 90 grains. Compared to a lighter. Okay, all right. 8i03 is an art point made from Jasper, I think this is Horse Creek Chert, but it's a Jasper, right? I get this confused sometimes with Georgia Jasper. I believe this one's Horse Creek. Heat treat. Yeah. I've got a bunch of this in small pieces. So I'll start making more points from this. This is just the first. It is an art point. Expanding notches. All right. This type of stuff is not translucent. Compared to a lighter. This one is 2 5/8 by 1 3/8. $186 grains, not grams. All right, so close up look. The edges are picked to sharpen them. That's my default method. I just pick off all the dull spots and try to get it straight. This one actually was very cooperative to nap, even with some of this area that looks a little bit dry and crunchy. It did not present a problem, which is unusual. Usually where you see it's dry and kind of grainy or crunchy, there is a little bit of a step fracturing going on there, but this wasn't much of a problem. Yeah. I was able to keep the width. Didn't have to make it more narrow to run flakes in there. But that's the only issue, is this right there. And that can probably be picked out. I just didn't pick it out. Yeah, if I try to pick that one out, I'll leave metal marks in it. I don't like leaving metal marks in it. I don't know what to call it. It's just an art point. Okay, yeah. 8I04. I made the preform for this on a live stream. This is Hornstone, right? Or did I make it on video? Or let's see. I'm trying to remember if this was the piece that I worked on that I was calling a reworked piece on the last video. It's a 3-part series, I believe. And I reworked a biface. This might be it, but I can't remember. Anyway, it's the Hornstone, and it's an art point. All right, so let's see. 2 1/4 inches by 7/8. Compared to a lighter. It's hard to see with the blue background. This color is a slightly bluish gray. $70 grains. Close-up look. I think this one did give me a little bit of trouble as I was doing the final thinning. But luckily it pressure flaked well, so I was able to remove some of the issues with pressure flaking, which is kind of rare. Usually I don't depend on pressure flaking to remove mistakes. Most of the mistakes were just step fracturing. It got kind of steppy toward the end. And again, I'm practicing my expanding notches. They're not narrow entry, but they are expanding. Let's see. Okay. There might be a name for this in the archaeological record, but it's probably not made of hornstone. The originals of this type, if there is such a thing, probably not made from hornstone. Okay. (8I05), another hornstone piece. This time it's a lighter gray compared to a lighter. Length is to a little over 2 3/8 by 1 1/8 almost. (104 grains). Sharpened by picking. This one also had some grainy areas, like right there, that I thought were going to give me some trouble. I think there was a little bit of stepping on this one, but I don't remember it being as bad as the darker hornstone. Yeah, this one was relatively easy to nap, except for these areas. Some of them are translucent. It's got crystal pockets. Yep. The one previous has some translucency also, just around the edges and down here near the stem. Okay. Yeah, this hornstone is semi-translucent. This is a Scallorn looking point. So I imagine some of the points made of hornstone were Scallorns, but I'm not sure. But anyway. The pressure flaking on this type of stuff on a hornstone can get really crushy, which surprised me because it naps well otherwise. And when it gets crushy, that means the notches will stall. So I did stall the notches on this one and the previous one before I was able to thin out. And I take a file and I thin out the stall, and then I pop out some more flakes. These notches stall easily, and I think I still have a stalled notch on this side, but I didn't want to mess with it. Yeah, on this one there's still a stalled notch. On hornstone, the edges will crush, and that makes the notching difficult. Very difficult in some cases. So you got to have a very thin material if you want to get deep notches, in my experience with this stuff. Yeah, that's the only bad part. Otherwise, it was easy to nap, relatively speaking. Yeah. (8I06), 2 points that I had done on video, I believe, and these were from a video series that I was calling Napping Sweet Flakes, and I was going to nap a bunch of these to match. But I was on my third one this morning, tried to make one this morning to match these two so I can have a set of 3. But I snapped it right across there where the notch gets close to the base. Typical snap with this kind of point, especially because I was working with a concave base on the third one of this set. I made the base very convex because I had to nap out a defect in the middle of the one that snapped, and I was able to run some flakes through the stack that I had in the middle on that particular one. So that I was happy about that. But then as I got to notching, I blew off one of the barbs. So we only have 2. Or well, these are about 1.5 inches long. Yeah, 1.5 inches by 15/16. So they are hunting point size. Now weight, they're not going to be very heavy. (40 grains). 36 grains. Okay. They are Pretty typical of Native American true arrow points as far as size. Yeah, Native American true arrow points are not very big. And these are translucent. I think this one might be Knife River Flint. I'm pretty sure this one is Knife River Flint. And this one is just Texas stuff. Texas chert. Right, root beerish. Okay, so these are both under this one item number. I should compare those to a lighter, just so you can see. For a comparison, so you know, man, those are tiny. Yeah, they're tiny. Last but not least, 8I07 is a box of bifaces. I want to try to remember what the materials are. Some of them are obvious, but some of them are not. Okay, so how many we got? Let's try to get it all in the same picture, or the same frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 bifaces, or preforms. Some of them are pretty close to being the final shape. All right, this one is Novaculite Heat Treat, Danny Collins. It's half of one of the pieces I was working on a live stream. This one is Georgia Jasper Heat Treat. I was going to make something this morning out of it, but I ran out of time. So it's thinner than what it was before, and I don't know if I had worked on it on a live stream or not. I probably did, but I thinned it off camera a little bit more, trying to make something out of it, but no time. This one is Texas chert. It's very similar to this first piece, Central Texas chert, lightly heat treated, I believe. I think I might have done this one on live stream, but I also thinned this down a little bit more than it was before. I thinned that down last night, I believe. But it's not, it's only a preliminary thinning. It's not the final thinning or the secondary thinning. Yeah, just preliminary. Okay. And these are getting smaller. This is black butter obsidian, but I made a mistake on it. It's hard to see. There's a step fracture. Come on. Yeah, you can see it right there. Step fracture right there. So I gave up on it. Said, nah, by the time I get that out, it's going to be a lot more narrow. I did not want it to be more narrow. Yeah, it's already very narrow. But yeah, black butter obsidian. This one is a Hornstone, same as this item, item 8I04. It's the same Hornstone. Okay. These three are Texas cherts. I believe these two are heat treats, and this one is not. And this one is kind of crude. This one kind of resembles Knife River, but it's not. Translucent, translucent, translucent. Yeah, these are Texas cherts. I'll measure these all in a minute. This one I can't remember if it's Buffalo River or Horse Creek. I think it's raw Buffalo River. I don't know. Anyway, I think I shaped this on a live stream, and I did this on a live stream too. This is Flint Ridge. Yeah, a nice piece of Flint Ridge. But it has these crystal inclusions in it, which makes it a little bit challenging. I don't recommend it for beginners, but it does snap nicely otherwise, unless you got these little crystal pockets. That's the only thing that makes it difficult, in my opinion. Okay, so what are the sizes? 3 3/8, 2 3/4, 2 7/8, 2 5/16, a little over 2 1/4, about 2 1/2, about 3 inches, about 4 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, and 3 1/8. Okay, so I already showed that translucency on these, right? Yeah, compared to lighter, so you know what you're getting. 10 bifaces. Some of them are thinned a lot, and some of them are not. I don't know if I showed the thinness on all of these. I think I showed the thinness on those. All right. So now's your chance. If you haven't napped any of this kind of stuff before, now's your chance. Yeah. So the rules are in the description box below. The auction is now being posted at a new time, starting at 6 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. Mondays, but it's always going to be Mondays. The new hours are 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. I've always closed the auction at 9 p.m., so that did not change. Just the start time changed. Okay? I hope you liked this week's items, and good luck.